I wiped the sweat off my forehead and glanced at my watch. 7:15 p.m. Another late day at the office. I sighed, thinking about Emily and Luke waiting at home. I'm late again, I muttered under my breath. My phone buzzed. A message from Mark. Don't let work ruin your life, man. You okay? I typed back quickly. Yeah, just tired. Just tired, I said aloud, shaking my head. Mark always worried too much. He didn't understand the pressure. Bills, rent, groceries, I couldn't afford to slow down. I grabbed my bag and started the drive home. The city lights blurred past my window, and I thought about Emily. Lately, she seemed distant. Not cold, exactly, but quieter than usual. When I stepped inside the apartment, I froze. Luke was sitting on the couch, laughing at something on Emily's phone. Emily's head tilted back, her laughter light and easy. My chest tightened. Hey, I said, forcing a smile. How's dinner? Oh, just finishing up, Emily said, glancing at me. Her smile was polite, but there was something missing. Luke nudged her. She made her famous pasta, man. You're gonna love it. I nodded and set down my bag. Sound good. Smells great already. Emily looked at me for a moment, and I felt a pang. Something in her eyes. Was it exhaustion? Or something else? I couldn't tell. I moved to the kitchen. Need any help? I asked. Emily shook her head. I've got it. You go relax. You've had a long day. Luke leaned back, stretching. You should take a break, Danny. Just for tonight. I tried to laugh it off. Thanks, I guess. I'll sit for a bit. I sank onto the couch, trying to calm the unease twisting in my stomach. Luke's laugh echoed again, and Emily smiled at him like he'd said something hilarious. I wanted to tell myself it was nothing. Work was brutal today, I muttered. Endless meetings. Emily nodded. I get it. You've been working so hard. I wanted to believe her words, but there was an edge to them, almost like she was speaking out of obligation. My phone buzzed again. Sarah, remember that project idea I mentioned? You should come by tomorrow. Could be good for you. I typed back. Thanks, I'll think about it. I set the phone down, feeling the weight of everything. Mark's warning echoed in my mind. Don't ignore the signs, Danny. Trust your gut. I shook my head. Paranoia. That's all it is. Dinner smelled amazing. Emily called out. Dinner's ready. Hope you're not too tired. Her words should have warmed me. They didn't. There was a hollow ring to them, a rhythm I didn't like. I sat at the table, Luke across from me, grinning. You're looking pale, Danny. All that work wearing you down. Yeah, I admitted. Long day. Emily served the pasta. I thanked her, trying to catch her eyes. She looked back, but her gaze drifted to Luke for a split second, and I swallowed hard. I chewed slowly, forcing conversation. Luke, how's the new gaming setup working? Oh, it's awesome. Emily helped me pick the right graphics card. She's brilliant with this stuff. I froze. Helped him? I nodded, trying to keep my voice steady. That's good. Emily smiled politely, not warmly, not the way she used when she looked at me. After dinner, I retreated to my room. My phone lit up again, another text from Emily. Good night. Sleep well. I stared at it, my chest tight. Something fell off, but I couldn't place it. Not yet. I lay down, pretending to rest, while Luke and Emily's laughter floated from the living room. My stomach twisted. I didn't know if it was worry, jealousy, or the creeping sense that my life was slowly tilting into something I couldn't yet see. I closed my eyes and whispered, everything's fine. It has to be. I pushed open the door earlier than usual and froze. Emily and Luke were on the couch, faces close, laughing at something on Emily's phone. Hey, I said, trying to sound casual. Oh, what's so funny? Emily jumped slightly. Oh, Daniel, I didn't hear you come in. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Luke grinned. You should see this meme, man. It's perfect. I forced a laugh. Yeah, funny. My stomach twisted. Too close. Too easy. Emily looked down at her phone, hiding it. Just, silly stuff. I nodded, trying to ignore the sharp ache in my chest. Right. Luke leaned back. You've been working late a lot. Everything okay? Yeah, I said too quickly. Just busy. Emily placed her hand lightly on Luke's arm. My vision blurred with unease. I swallowed. Dinner soon. She glanced at me. I was thinking we could grab something later. Or I could cook. Her voice trailed off. I shook my head. No, it's fine. Whatever's easiest. Later, I called Mark. Man, I don't know, something feels off. What do you mean? His voice was cautious. Is Emily? I ran a hand through my hair. I don't know. She's different. And Luke, he's always around. Laughing with her, helping with little things. Too much. Trust your gut, Danny, Mark said firmly. You're not paranoid. You need to talk to her. I can't, I admitted. Not yet. I need proof or something concrete. Don't wait too long. Otherwise, you'll regret it. I hung up and sighed. Sarah's text buzzed. Hey, don't let work stress get to your head. You've been distant lately. I typed back. Thanks, just tired. She replied instantly. I'm serious, Danny. You deserve clarity. Don't overthink it, but don't ignore it either. Her words echoed in my mind while I tidied the kitchen. Luke come behind me. You done with those dishes? He asked. Yeah, I muttered, feeling my chest tighten, just moving them to the rack. He leaned closer. Emily helped me with the cabinets yesterday. You should have seen it. She's brilliant with that stuff. I paused, gripping the counter. Right. That's good. Emily walked past, her shoulder brushing mine lightly. You okay? She asked softly. Yeah, I said, trying to sound calm. Just tired, I guess. She nodded, but her eyes flicked toward Luke, and my stomach sank. Later, I was clearing some papers from the living room when a small envelope slipped from under the couch cushion. I picked it up. It was addressed to Emily, in a handwriting I didn't recognize. L. My hand shook. I opened it just enough to glimpse the words. Something warm, something intimate. I dropped it immediately, heart racing. I paced. I must be imagining things, I muttered. But the knot in my chest refused to loosen. I called Mark again. I found something. I can't. I don't know what to do. Take a breath, he said. Don't confront yet. Watch and wait, but trust yourself. Something's wrong. I hung up, staring at the empty living room. Luke was quietly reading on the couch, Emily humming softly in the kitchen. I felt like an intruder in my own life. I can't let this go, I whispered. I have to know the truth. I sank into the armchair, phone in hand, staring at messages and missed calls. My mind raced, every glance, every laugh, every small touch replayed in my head. Emily called out, Daniel, are you coming to bed soon? Yes, soon, I said, though I wasn't sure what soon meant anymore. My thoughts were too loud, my heart too heavy, my trust too fragile. I closed my eyes for a moment, trying to push it away, but I couldn't. Something had shifted, something I couldn't ignore. I whispered to the empty room, I need to figure this out before it's too late. I opened the door and stopped dead. The apartment was silent. Too silent. Emily, I called, my voice tight. Luke, nothing. I set my bag down and glanced around. Half-eaten pasta on the table. Two phones side by side. My heart sank. I picked up Emily's phone first. The screen was unlocked. Messages, pages of them, from Luke. Sweet, intimate words I shouldn't have read. My hand shook. I muttered, no way. Then I grabbed Luke's phone. More texts. Laughing emojis, hearts, plans to meet later. My stomach turned. I sank onto the couch, feeling dizzy. My mind raced. They've been hiding this. All this time. The door clicked. Emily stepped in, carrying a bag of groceries. Hey, Daniel, you're home early, she said. I stared at her. Where have you been? Oh, just out. Luke needed to run an errand, so I went with him. I narrowed my eyes. Together. She froze, glancing down. Yes, we thought it would be faster. Faster. My voice rose. You left me here? Alone. Emily shook her head. Danny, it's not what you think. Not what I think. I laughed bitterly. Emily, the texts, the diary entry. Do you have any idea what I just found? Her lips trembled. I didn't mean for you to see that. I'm sorry. I slammed my hand on the table. Sorry? Do you even understand what this is? Betrayal. Emily flinched. I didn't. I couldn't let her finish. Don't lie to me. Don't even try. I trusted you. She looked away, tears brimming. I never wanted to hurt you. I shook my head. Never? You laughed with him. You shared things with him I never even knew. Emily's voice wavered. It's complicated, Danny. I don't know how it happened. Complicated? You're leaving me out of my own life. Luke, my brother, he's been in our home, laughing with you, texting you, while I work myself to death. My chest burned. I didn't plan it, she whispered. I stood abruptly. Doesn't matter. It happened. You've changed everything. Emily reached out. Danny, please calm down. I stepped back. Calm down? How can I calm down when everything I believed in, everything I built is gone? She said nothing, just stared at me, guilt written all over her face. I grabbed the diary from the table. Her handwriting, Luke's initials at the bottom. Intimate confessions, shared secrets. My stomach twisted. Why? I whispered, my voice breaking. Why him? Why not me? Emily's shoulders shook. I don't know. I thought I was just lonely. You're always gone. I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. Lonely? I work my ass off so we can live. You think an excuse is this? I never wanted this. I swear, she cried. I turned to the empty couch where Luke usually sat. I could almost see him there, smiling, charming, safe in his arrogance. Rage boiled in me. And Luke, he's been here every day, pretending to help while smiling at you. Did you ever think about me? Emily lowered her head. I should have. I know. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. Do you know how it feels to walk into your own house and find your worst nightmare waiting for you? I know I hurt you, she whispered. I clenched my fists, trembling. Anger, shock, humiliation, all mixed together. I don't know if I can forgive either of you. She looked up, tears streaking her cheeks. I don't want to lose you. I laughed hollowly. You already did. Maybe I lost you the moment I wasn't enough, or maybe you lost me the moment you wanted him. Emily fell silent, guilt crushing her. I turned away, pacing. My mind screamed with betrayal, humiliation, and a burning desire for revenge. I didn't know what I'd do next, only that my life had changed forever. I whispered to the empty apartment, I can't just let this go. Not ever. Not now. Silence stretched between us. A silence heavier than anything I'd ever known. I felt broken, powerless, but something deep inside sparked. I would make them pay, not just in words, but in the cold, slow weight of karma. And I knew, in that moment, nothing would ever be the same. I sat alone in the living room, staring at the blank TV screen. The house felt hollow without noise. My phone buzzed. Mark again. You alive? Barely, I replied. Listen to me, he said when I called him. Don't do anything stupid. Anger makes liars out of smart men. I rubbed my temples. So what am I supposed to do? Smile and forgive. No, Mark said firmly. You slow down. You think. You protect yourself. I laughed bitterly. Funny. I spent years protecting everyone but me. Then start now, he said. Whatever you choose, make sure it's your choice. After the call ended, silence rushed back in. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. Fight, forgive, or walk away. None of them felt clean. I whispered to myself, how did I miss this? I replayed every moment. Emily checking her phone. Luke staying late. Their laughter. Their ease. I clenched my jaw. I wasn't blind, I muttered. I was busy. My phone buzzed again. A message from Sarah. I heard your voice yesterday. You sounded broken. Don't let this destroy you. I typed, then erased, then typed again. Try not to, she replied. Thinking clearly matters more than reacting loudly. I set the phone down and stood. I walked through the apartment slowly, like it belonged to someone else. I opened Emily's desk drawer. I hated myself for it, but I needed answers. Receipts, notes, dates, patterns. I spoke out loud, steadying myself. Just facts, no emotion. I checked calendars, messages, share plans. They lined up too neatly. Lunches when I worked late, errands that took hours. So that's how? I whispered. Anger crept in, slow and cold. Not explosive, focused. I won't scream, I told myself. I won't beg. I sat back down, breathing carefully. Revenge flashed through my mind. Public exposure. Family truth. Watching Luke's smile break. I shook my head. That kind of revenge destroys me too. The door opened softly. Emily stepped inside. Daniel, she said quietly. Can we talk? I didn't look up. You're already talking. She sat across from me, hands folded. I've been thinking about us. I finally met her eyes. That makes one of us. She flinched. That's not fair. Neither was what you did, I replied. She swallowed. I don't want to lose you. I leaned back. You keep saying that. You never say why you risked me. She looked down. I was confused. Lonely. Luke listened. I laughed softly. So did I. For years. I know, she said. And I hate myself for it. I studied her face. Are you sorry because you hurt me? Or because you got caught? She didn't answer right away. That was answer enough. I want to fix this, she said. I shook my head. You don't fix something you broke on purpose. She reached for my hand. I pulled away. Please, she whispered. I stood. I need space. And honesty. I don't know if you can give me either. She nodded slowly. I'll wait. I watched her leave the room. My chest ached, but my mind felt sharp for the first time in days. Luke still thought I was weak. Emily still thought I was unsure. I picked up my phone and sent one message to myself in the Notes app. Observe. Prepare. Decide. I looked around the quiet house and said out loud, I won't lose myself again. I didn't know if I would stay, leave, or expose everything. But I knew one thing clearly. I was done being powerless. I leaned back in my office chair, staring at the reports on my screen. Sarah peeked over my shoulder. You're really taking this project seriously. I have to, I muttered. Need to prove I'm not replaceable. She smiled softly. You've got this, Danny. Just don't burn yourself out. I nodded, but my mind wasn't on the project entirely. I thought of Luke, laughing with Emily, thinking he could get away with anything. Not anymore. Hey, Danny. Mark's voice came from the phone. You sure you're not going overboard? I'm not, I said firmly. I'm focused. Mark grunted. Be careful. Don't get lost in revenge before you know what you're doing. I know, I said, though I couldn't shake the grin forming on my lips. I set up a meeting at the office with Luke in mind. He won't see this coming, I whispered to myself. Later, I saw Luke approaching the conference room. Danny, ready to crush this? I smiled faintly. Yeah, let's do it. He strutted in, confident, unaware. I subtly handed him a presentation file I knew was missing critical data. He didn't notice. As the meeting progressed, Luke stumbled. Questions he couldn't answer. Figures he misread. A quiet ripple of laughter ran through the room. I stayed calm, guiding the conversation. Maybe we can clarify this section, Luke? I said. His face flushed. Yeah, sure. I watched him squirm, my satisfaction low, but steady. Not too much, not yet. After the meeting, Sarah approached me. Danny, that was bold. Just strategy, I said, shrugging. He won't know what hit him. She glanced at me, concern in her eyes. Be careful. Don't let this eat you alive. I'm careful, I replied. This is control. Something I lost for too long. At home, Emily sat silently on the couch. Danny, I raised an eyebrow. Yes. She looked down, twisting her hands. I noticed Luke seemed off today. I nodded slowly. Really? Yes. And it made me think, she admitted, eyes tearing slightly. I shouldn't have, you know. You shouldn't have done what? I asked softly. Emily looked at me, guilt written across her face. Left things go too far. Made choices I can't take back. I remained silent, letting her words linger. She wanted to speak more, but I let her struggle with it. Silence is a mirror. I walked to the window, thinking, karma isn't loud. It's slow, subtle, calculated. Luke texted while I was upstairs. Hey, Danny, dinner later? I smiled. Not tonight, I whispered. Better lessons first. The next day, I arranged another small meeting. This time, I let Luke overestimate his own knowledge. I guided him subtly, planting a mistake he would repeat in front of others. When he made it, the room stifled laughter again. Luke's face burned. Pride faltered. My pulse stayed steady. Later, Emily approached cautiously. Danny, are you punishing him? I shook my head. I'm letting him face himself. Choices have consequences. Her eyes widened. And me? You faced yours already, I said softly. Quietly. That why you look different? Emily nodded, looking down. I hate what I've done. I wanted to believe her remorse, but I didn't trust it fully. Instead, I let her see Luke unravel, knowing she'd feel the weight of her choices. Sarah texted me again. Careful with him. You're walking a fine line. I replied, I know, but fine lines are where control is built. The week continued. Every small misstep Luke made, I observed, guiding without touching. My satisfaction grew quietly. He was prideful, careless, and blind to the traps I laid. Emily stayed distant, guilt evident. She avoided looking at me directly sometimes, yet she lingered near the living room where I worked, as if needing reassurance. One evening, Luke's phone buzzed with a reminder I'd quietly said earlier. A dinner he couldn't attend without embarrassing himself at work. I watched from my desk. His realization came too late. I whispered, "Lesson learned, brother. Pride before a fall." Emily peeked at him from the kitchen. "He looks humble." I didn't answer. Silence was stronger than words. I leaned back, thinking of the next steps. Control, patience, precision. Emily's guilt, Luke's faltering pride, and my own reclaiming of power, all pieces falling into place. This was more than revenge. This was balance. And I finally felt it, the thrill of holding the strings without being consumed. I looked at my reflection in the darkened window. "This is just the beginning," I whispered. I found Luke sitting at the kitchen table, his hands shaking, his head hanging low. Emily stood by the sink, pale and silent, like she already knew what was coming. "Danny," Luke said, forcing himself to look up. "We need to talk." I crossed my arms. "Now you want to talk?" He swallowed hard. "I lost my job today." Emily gasped softly. "Luke!" "They said I was unreliable," he continued, voice cracking. "Missed deadlines. Wrong numbers. They let me go." I stared at him. "And whose fault is that?" He clenched his jaw. "You think this is funny?" "No," I said evenly. "I think it's earned." Luke slammed his hands on the table and stood. "You set me up." I shook my head slowly. "I handed you opportunities. You tripped over your own ego." Emily stepped between us. "Please stop. Both of you." Luke laughed bitterly. "You always protect him." "I'm not protecting anyone," she said, voice shaking. "I'm scared." I stepped closer to Luke. "You walked into my home, my marriage, and thought there'd be no cost." He whispered, "I never meant to hurt you." My voice snapped. "You betrayed me under my roof." Emily flinched. "Daniel." Luke's voice broke. "I love her." I stared at him. "You loved yourself." The silence was heavy. Luke collapsed back into the chair, smaller than I'd ever seen him. "I ruined everything," he muttered. "Yes," I said quietly. "You did." Emily looked at me through tears. "Do you hate him?" I answered without hesitation. "I don't trust him." Hate would give him control. Luke looked up slowly. "What do you want from me?" I exhaled. "Nothing. That's the point." He frowned. "You could destroy me." I could, I agreed. "But I won't." Emily whispered, "Why?" "Because I refuse to become the kind of man who hurts just to feel powerful," I said. Luke covered his face. "I don't know how to fix this." "You don't," I replied. "You live with it." He nodded weakly. "I'll move out." Emily gasped. "Luke!" "It's time," he said. I crossed lines I can't erase. I watched him stand, shoulders slumped, the confidence gone. After he left the room, Emily sank onto the couch. "Say something," she pleaded. I sat across from her. "What do you want me to say?" "That you still love me," she whispered. I closed my eyes. "I love what we were." Her voice trembled. "Is that not enough?" "No," I said softly, "because we can't go back." She cried quietly. "I'd give anything to undo it." "I know," I replied. "That's the tragedy." She reached for my hand. I let her hold it once. "I don't know where we go from here," she said. "Neither do I admitted. "But it won't be built on lies." She nodded slowly. "I'll stay somewhere else for a while." I looked at her. "That's probably best." As she packed, the house felt heavy but clear. I stood alone afterward, breathing deeply. I hadn't won through cruelty. I'd won by refusing to lose myself. And that victory hurt more than any punch ever could. I leaned against the wall and whispered, "This is the cost of truth." The silence answered me, and for once I didn't fight it. I woke up to the quiet. Not the comfortable quiet I used to enjoy, but the heavy silence of an empty house. Emily was gone for now, taking time to think, leaving me with only my thoughts and the faint echo of what had happened. I poured a cup of coffee and leaned against the counter, staring at the living room. No laughter, no arguments, no lingering tension. Just emptiness. My phone buzzed. "Sarah. Morning. Coffee later." I hesitated, then typed back. Sure. I could use some human conversation. Minutes later, she walked in, carrying a thermos and a cautious smile. "Hey," she said softly. "I brought some coffee. Thought you might need it." I took it gratefully. "Thanks. You always know when to appear." She shrugged. "Someone has to keep you grounded. You've been distant." I chuckled, though it felt hollow. "Distant? That's one way to put it." She leaned on the counter. "You've been through a lot, Danny. Betrayal, loss, it changes a person." "Changes?" That's an understatement. I took a sip. I spent years thinking I knew who I was, and suddenly everything I believed in evaporated. She nodded. "And yet here you are, drinking coffee, breathing, surviving." I smiled faintly. "Survival isn't victory, Sarah, but it's a start." She tilted her head. "Victory can wait. Right now, focus on yourself." I stared out the window. "I don't even recognize the man I've become." "Then rebuild him," she said quietly, "piece by piece. Start with small things." I nodded slowly. Small things. The days passed. I focused on my work, throwing myself into tasks that once felt tedious, now invigorating. Each email I sent, each report I completed, reminded me I still had control over something. I wasn't just the man betrayed. I was Daniel, capable, resourceful, and still learning. Emily called one evening. "Danny," she said softly. "Hey," I replied cautiously. I wanted to check in, see how you're doing." I leaned back, studying her voice. Vulnerable, guilt-ridden. "I'm managing." Slowly, there was a pause. "I'm sorry for everything. I wish I could undo it." "I know," I said quietly. "We can't undo the past, but we can live with it." She sighed. "I've been reflecting. A lot. I miss what we had." I hesitated. "So do I. But some things can't be returned. Not fully. Not after the choice is made." "I understand," she whispered. We ended the call with a quiet goodbye. I sank into the couch, feeling both relief and sadness. Part of me still loved her, but love wasn't enough to erase betrayal. Not anymore. Sarah's text kept me grounded. "You need balance, not obsession. Learn from it, then live." I tried to follow her advice. I reconnected with colleagues, repaired relationships I had neglected, and even started taking walks in the evening, noticing the city alive outside my apartment. One evening, I caught my reflection in the darkened window. The man staring back at me was different, stronger, wiser. Wounded, yes, but not broken. I whispered to myself, "I survived. I learned. I'm still here." A knock at the door startled me. It was Sarah, holding a bag of groceries. "I thought you could use a hand," she said with a small smile. I laughed softly. "You really do show up at the right moments." She shrugged. "Someone has to make sure you eat something besides takeout." We cooked together in quiet companionship, exchanging light conversation that didn't touch the wounds but reminded me that life still had ordinary joys. "Do you think you'll ever forgive?" she asked gently. I shook my head. "Not fully. Forgiveness isn't the point anymore. Understanding is. Acceptance." She nodded. "That sounds peaceful at least." "Peaceful is hard to come by," I admitted, "but necessary." Emily's absence gave me space to reflect. I thought about the long nights I spent wondering if my life would ever feel normal again. I realized that normal wasn't coming back, but something new could grow. Luke's downfall had left me wary but unburdened by anger. Watching him face the consequences of his pride reminded me that life had a way of balancing itself, even if imperfectly. I began journaling again, small entries each night. Observations, thoughts, feelings. No judgment, just clarity. I want to track my own growth, not dwell on past mistakes. One night, I cooked a simple dinner for myself. Pasta, a glass of water, and silence. I sat at the table, forks clinking softly against the plates, the apartment empty, but somehow full. Full of lessons, full of mistakes, full of survival. I whispered to the quiet, This is my life now. It's mine to shape." I realized I didn't need Emily, Luke, or anyone else to validate my existence. I only needed my own sense of control, my own understanding, my own acceptance. Sarah joined me briefly, sitting across the table, her presence quiet and steady. "You doing okay?" she said. I smiled faintly. "Better than okay. I'm learning to be enough for myself." She nodded, sipping water. Good. That's what matters. I finished my meal in silence, letting the quiet fill me instead of fear or regret. After she left, I sat alone again. My mind wandered over the months of betrayal, anger, and careful strategy. I whispered softly, I survived it all, and I'm stronger for it. The apartment felt lighter, though empty. Each room held echoes of what had been, but not pain. Not anymore. I realized something profound. Closure isn't about forgetting. It's about facing the truth, accepting it, and moving forward with your own life intact. I stood, washing my plate, and looked around. The space was mine again, full, quiet, and steady. I smiled to myself. This is the man I am now. Not broken, not naive, just alive. And in that silence, I found peace. Not the peace of forgetting, but the peace of surviving, learning, and choosing my own path. I whispered one last time, softly, almost to the walls themselves, I'll be okay. And for the first time in a long time, I truly believed it.